You need practice, Donny. EK's back and he's catching bodies.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Most High in Christ bless. My name is Yakanah Maccabeus.
Mikael.
Go by Hosea Kanai.
And today's lesson is Ishtar Sunday and Dagon Fish Friday.
That's right.
And
all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh.
all praises.
All praises.
And we're going to show you using scriptures that this pagan holiday from so-called Good Friday to Ishtar Sunday is idol worship. And we're gonna use the scriptures to do so. And first we're gonna start off with the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, we're going to show you with truth that this is all idol worship, and there's no reason why we should be participating in this paganism at all. This is not of God. Eggs and fertility bunnies have nothing at all to do with the resurrection of Christ, and we shouldn't be celebrating this, nor should we be teaching our children this idol worship. So from there, we're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verses 10.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 10. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Now that's where you're going to get the deep understanding of what the scriptures say, because you can read the scriptures as a novel and get the understanding of it, but to get the secrets, to get in depth of it, you got to go precept upon precept. So you'll see that in this video as we go through scripture to scripture to match it up and make it all tie in together and make sense for you. All right?
From there, we're going to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, verse 17 and 18. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings upon her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by the famine. Verse 19. And when we burned incense to the Queen of heaven, and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her, and pour out drink offerings unto her without our men.
All right, so now that you hear these scriptures, you hear a lot of Queen of Heaven, and this is just referring to the queen goddess Astra. And as we go along, you're gonna soon understand as we start reading some of these side notes and scriptures to go along with it. All right. So now we're gonna read the definition of Queen of Goddess in Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
Queen of Heaven, female deity to whom priestly Hebrew woman made offerings. Jeremiah chapter 7:18, Jeremiah 44:17-25. The most likely identification is with Ashtoreth, goddess of love and fertility, synonymous with the Assyrian and Babylonian Ishtar and the Roman Venus.
Now, what you're going to see here is that this is just blatantly idol worship, you know? If you're teaching your children to paint Easter eggs, and if you're teaching them to eat chocolate bunnies, you're teaching them worship of another God. And our God is a jealous God. And you should know this from the door, that we should not be giving tribute to another God. We're not researching where these things come from thoroughly. We're just teaching the children and we're going along with it, you know? And this is what we should not do. We should search these scriptures to see exactly where this comes from.
And it's sad too that Easter is a big feast day in Christendom, where a lot of restaurants are going to be packed with families going to eat after Sunday worship. People are staying up all night making cakes and desserts for Easter Sunday. So this is a celebration of wickedness and not honoring the resurrection of Christ. Christ did not die on the cross so you could celebrate Easter and have Easter egg hunts and all that wicked stuff. You're dishonoring Christ.
Alright, so we're going to go more into what Easter is. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with the resurrection? After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Christ, but at its roots, Easter, which is how you pronounce Ishtar, is all about celebrating fertility and sex. Alright? So that's just the origins of Easter. And we're going to bring out a scripture.
From there, we're going to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 18. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 18. The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger.
And again, this is what you do on Easter Sunday. You bake cakes, you make toast, and not knowing that you're doing this for a false god. And this is what happens. You provoke the Most High, the true God, the only God, the God of Israel. And not knowing that when we do this, we anger the Most High. And this is why, you know, we stay year after year in the same condition. And we get, you know, put in these conditions, and we don't leave the church. We leave, you know, dumb as hell, because we continue to listen to the pastor, and whatever he says is okay. You know, you take with it and you run with it, but it's not according to the scriptures. All right.
Yeah, and our people are destroyed for lack of this knowledge. They just going along with it, and like I said, they're not researching anything. We remain stupid. You know, so we need to go back to these law, statutes, and commandments and realize what we're doing and stop provoking the Most High to anger.
Right. Yeah, we got Easter from our slave masters. We didn't celebrate this in our native lands before it was kidnapped and captured, put in captivity. So we need to give Easter, Christmas, all these other holidays back to our slave masters. It's not for the 12 tribes of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today.
Right.
Leave it alone.
From there, we're going to go to the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 3. The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So if you're not keeping these commandments as we've gone on in previous scriptures, you're not showing the Most High that you love Him. So you actually showing Him that you hate Him. You're not going along with the things that He has told you to keep. Not only that, but you're teaching your children the same idol worship and to put other gods before the Most High. If you're teaching Easter, you're teaching your kids to bow a knee to this false goddess. You're teaching them that this egg and idol worship is more important than the teachings of this Bible, because you're going along with it because the masses is going along with it. And we should not be a partaker of these things. We need to come out of this Babylonian customs. From there, we want to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 35.
I can read it. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 35. Unto thee it was showed that thou mightest know that Yahweh, He is God. There is none else beside Him.
Now we should give praise to Ishtar.
Yahweh is God. None else beside Him.
Nah, his name is Samaris.
Yahweh, He is God. There is none else beside Him.
Nah, he goes by Diana.
Yahweh, He is God. There is none else beside Him.
So there's none that's going to share the glory of God. And we teaching our children to show glory to another God. And we don't care, we're going along with it. We're going to sit at the table on Sunday and we're going to think that is right and righteous just because we have a family gathering, but this gathering is in the name of another God. Nah, there's no God but Yahweh. You know, we need to go back to His law so that we're not going through the things that we're going through as a people. We're not being spared as a people by the police that's killing us. We got a government that don't even care for us. I mean, and they showing you blatantly. Ain't nobody going to rescue us from this captivity but the Most High Yahweh.
Yeah, like the scripture said, we're in need of all things. All things, jobs, food, clothing. We got to depend on our enemies because we're keeping these heathen holidays.
From there, we're going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 96, verse 5. The book of Psalms, chapter 96, verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before Him. Strength and beauty are in His sanctuary. And the strength of God is in the sanctuary of these words. You know, you're not going to find it with no other gods. You're not going to find any sanctuary in serving these other gods at all. They don't represent anything. They are all dumb idols. So go back wholeheartedly to the Most High and forget about these heathen customs, because they absolutely mean nothing.
Alright, so move on along to Colossians 2:8. I want to say shalom to all the Akim that's up here watching this live stream. Appreciate you guys' support. I know it's late, but we gotta bring out the word in season, out of season.
That's right.
So hope everybody's having a wonderful Shabbat.
Right there. Go ahead, read.
Book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the remnant of the world, and not after Christ.
So, the Most High is a God of order. On things that He wants us to do, He gives us instructions, like the 7-day Sabbath, where we do no labor, no work, the feast days, Passover, Feast of Weeks, Tabernacles. The Most High is meticulous. He gives us instructions how to serve them. But for these vain heathen holidays like Christmas, Easter, there's nowhere in the scriptures you're going to find instructions of how to keep these days. If they're the Most High, then show us the passage where it shows how to keep these days. The holidays are vain deceits. Where's Sunday worship in the Bible? You can't find it. Read that one more time. Get that Colossians 2:8.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the remnants of the world, and not after Christ.
From there, we're going to go to the book of Acts, chapter 12, verses 3 and 4. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Now, a lot of Christians, they're going to run through the verse and they're going to be like, okay, Easter's in the Bible, but this is the only place that you're going to see Easter in the Bible. But if you go to the Bible dictionary, you're going to see that it has a Greek translation and it doesn't mean exactly what you think it means. So we're going to go to the Zondervan's Bible Dictionary and we're going to give you the correct translation of Easter in the book of Acts, chapter 12, verses 3 and 4. Read.
Okay, this is Zondervan Bible Dictionary. It says, Easter, you got in parentheses, Passover, rendered Easter in Acts 12, verse 4, KJV, but correctly translated Passover.
Nah, it's correctly translated Easter.
Correctly translated Passover.
Nah, it means it's a holiday to the false god Ishtar.
Correctly translated Passover.
See, as you can see, it's correctly translated Passover. And nowhere else in the Bible are you going to find this. Anywhere else in the Bible, it's going to state the Passover. Because the disciples, they kept Passover. Christ, he kept Passover. Paul, he kept Passover. Nowhere in the Bible was the bunny celebrated and the fertility goddess with eggs celebrated. You ain't going to find that nowhere in the Bible. But you're going to find out how to keep Passover and the feast of unleavened bread. Even in the verse, it shows you that the Passover and the feast of unleavened bread go hand in hand, so it precepts itself. Okay.
So from there, we're going to go on these notes, continuing. Tammuz was noted to be especially fond of rabbits, and they became sacred in the ancient religion because Tammuz was believed to be the son of the sun god Baal. Tammuz, like his supposed father, became a hunter. The day came when Tammuz was killed by a wild pig. Queen Ishtar told the people that Tammuz was now ascended to his father, Baal, and that the two of them would be with the worshippers in the sacred candle or lamp flame as Father, Son, and Spirit.
Now, as you read, Tammuz, he was killed by a boar. And a lot of people, they just went out and they practiced Lent and they drew a little cross on their head. That represents Tammuz. You know, he was killed by a boar at the age of 40. So for 40 days, they practiced Lent and they gave up meat. And then at the end of the celebration, what a lot of y'all is going to do is on the Easter Sunday, you're going to sit down after y'all done set up your cakes and your feast to the Queen Mother of Heaven. You're going to commemorate his death by representing overcoming a pig and eating a ham at your Easter dinner on a Sunday. After the Most High already told you not to eat this ham. He told you to keep the Passover and eat a lamb with bitter herbs. But you're going to sit there and you're going to eat a ham that he done told you is forbidden. That he done told you previously in other scriptures that the eating of this is like a smoke unto his nose. But yet you're going to continue with the vain philosophy and deceits of men. You're going to continue with the traditions of man instead of listening to what the Most High said. But Peter already told y'all we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. But you're still not going to listen.
You're defiling your temples, meaning that abominable stuff.
These pigs is the scum of the earth. They got worms all in them. They don't sweat out no diseases. And you want to eat this sewage bag.
And you wonder why you have high blood pressure, heart disease, strokes, cancer. You can jack yourself up messing with that ham.
From there, we're going to go 1 Corinthians chapter 10, 20 and 21.
First Corinthians chapter 10, starting at verse 20.
Read.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God.
They sacrifice to who?
To devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
Nah, you sat there and you passed around your wine on Easter and you giving a toast to the Most High.
Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
And that's just what being lukewarm is, and you fail to realize it. How you going to sit and send up a feast to another God and then say, I love the Most High? That makes no sense. That's madness. You put another God before him as he already told you not to. We showing you step by step that you're giving worship to Ishtar, Semiramis, Diana, whatever you want to call her, and Tammuz, Jupiter, or whatever you want to call him, Horus. But you still going to do it. Some of y'all are going to step away from it. Some of y'all are going to take heed to these words and live. That's why we out here prophesying to you dry bones. But some of you are going to keep doing it because you're stuck in your ways. But you need to gird up the loins of your mind and get off the stupid. We love you. We're going to be sitting here. We're going to cry loud and spare not to you. And that's how it's going to go down. Because that's how he commanded us to do. From there, we're going to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verse 7. Oh, Slakia. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to go to Ezekiel, chapter 8, verse 13 through 16. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, verse 13 through 16. He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to a door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east. And they worship the sun toward the east. And that's exactly what y'all doing, taking place in these heathen customs. You're putting your back towards the house of the Lord. And you're giving praise to this sun god Tammuz. You involved in horse worship. And you're not even realizing what you're doing. And we need to come out of it. Do not be partakers. Be ye separate. You are commanded to do so. And I advise you to take heed.
Right, yeah, this is talking about Lent. When you celebrate a Lent, you're weeping for Tammuz by abstaining from meats or whatever you enjoy for 40 days. This is what the Bible's explaining, and this is abomination to the Most High. We know that the Most High hates abominations. And when you keep Lent, Easter, Sunday worship, all these things that's not of the Most High, you turn your back to the Most High. So come out of your being separate, like Abinah said.
That's right.
Right, so from there, we're going to be Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 7.
Read.
How shall I pardon thee for this? Thy children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods, when I had fed them to the full. Then they committed adultery, and assembled themselves by troops in the harlots' houses.
Yeah, keeping these vain customs where committing spiritual idolatry against the Most High. Idolatry is not always physical, but spiritual also by following these other gods, the gods of Easter, Christmas, sun worship. That had nothing to do with the Bible or the Most High. Like I said again, Yahushua did not die so that you can continue to stay in your sins. He died so you're free from your sins, to give you a chance to make it to the kingdom, so you can repent and come out this Christian madness.
From there, we're going to go to the book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 8 through 13. The book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 8. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. And he said unto them, Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own traditions.
Keep your what?
Keep your own traditions.
The Most High's traditions?
Keep your own traditions.
All right.
For Moses said, Honor thy father and thy mother, and whosoever curseth father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, it is Corban, that is to say, a gift by whatsoever thou mightest be profited, by me he shall be free. Salakia. And ye suffer him no more to do aught for his father or mother, making the word of God of none effect through your tradition, which ye have delivered, and many such like things do ye. And by celebrating these heathen holidays, you're making the Most High's words of none effect.
None effect.
None effect. Hey, we all guilty of it. We all was out in the world before. We ain't know no better. That's why you got to study to show yourself approved.
That's right.
Snap out of it. This Easter celebrations ain't of the Most High. A lot of y'all like to see the children happy. You got to teach them better than that. I used to like to see my son opening a basket, but you got to teach him better than that. That's not what it's about. You got to be better than that. The Most High wants you to train up your children in the way they should go. And if you training them to follow after pagan gods, you're not training your children to go in the way they should go. You're training them to go to hell.
That's right.
And that's blatant as it get. You teaching them idol worship. You teaching them sacrifices to devils. If you teaching them Christmas, you teaching them to praise Nimrod. Because Nimrod was born on December 25th, not Yahushua. He wasn't born in the dead of winter. He was born more around this time of year. Reading the Bible, it tells you that he celebrated the Passover around the time he turned 12. It ain't my stuff. Pick it up and read it.
I want to bring out this command in Deuteronomy chapter 4.
Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 2. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of Yahweh your God, which I command you. So if it's not in this book, we shouldn't be doing it in the name of the Most High.
That's right.
Easter is adding and diminishing the word. Christmas is diminishing the word.
That's right, and neither one of them got nothing to do with the Most High. You sacrificing to devils.
Right.
From there, we're gonna get in to dagon.
Good Friday.
Good Friday. A lot of you, y'all setting out, y'all eating your fish sandwiches today on a Good Friday. And I'm pretty sure y'all can count. Y'all know from Friday to Sunday, it's not 3 days and 3 nights. Come on, y'all. Snap out of that.
It's about a day and a half tops.
You know? Come out of that. I mean, you giving homage to dagon. I mean, this is a Catholic tradition that they took from Philistine priests. The Pope's mitre hat, it even looked just like dagon. For yourself.
Facts.
You can look it up for yourself. Look at the hat. You're celebrating Catholic traditions. All it takes is a little bit of research. A little bit. That's it. Ain't no difference. A lot of y'all got that fish at the top of the paper in your car and it say Jesus in it. It ain't got nothing to do with the Christ. Got nothing to do with Yahweh Shai. It's dagon worship. From there, we're going to go to 1 Samuel chapter 5.
1 Samuel chapter 5, verse 1.
Read.
And the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. When the Philistines took the ark of God, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon.
And Dagon was their god. So you don't have no business paying homage to no fish god. Neptune, whatever you want to call it. Because the Greeks took on the custom too, they just gave him a different name.
And it's a shame that Christianity is teaching to worship the gods of all the other nations except for the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that they supposedly represent.
Right.
Christianity ain't teaching you this Bible. They teach you everything but this Bible. All of these idols. Think about every holiday you celebrate in church. It's got something to do with an idol. A lot of them go back to Babylon. Pick one. Pick one. From there we're going to go 1 Peter chapter 4, 17 and 18.
First Peter chapter 4, verse 17.
Read.
For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? And if the righteous secretly be saved, scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore, let them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing as unto a faithful Creator.
Yeah, and as you see, as you should know, it's a place for the ungodly. You know exactly where they're going to appear at. They're going to appear in the lake of fire. They're going to have hell. It's promised to you if you're not keeping these laws, statutes, commandments of God. And one of the commandments is, thou shalt have no other God before me. So if you're teaching your children any of these customs, you're teaching your children to put a God before the Most High. Point blank, period.
Yeah, these pastors don't care about your soul or salvation at all. They're playing games with the Most High. There's going to be serious consequences if you believe the word of your pastor over what the Bible says. That's why the Bible says, study to show thyself approved. So this ain't no joke.
Not at all.
The Bible says the righteous shall scarcely be saved. Scarcely. It's not a cakewalk like they make you believe in church where everybody's saved.
From there, we're going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 38 through 40.
Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Now, as you can probably count yourself, I mean, Friday night, what's that? Friday night to Saturday, that's a day and a half. And then Saturday, sundown to Sunday, sundown, that's just 2.5 days roughly.
Tops. If that.
So how's that 3 days of a resurrection? It don't add up. Christ did not resurrect on a Sunday. It didn't happen, and we're going to prove that in Scripture too. And we just proved right there it's not 3 days. So you follow behind your pastor, that's just stupid. I know you can do math. You can add that up yourself.
And you notice when the pastor gives us Friday crucifixion and Sunday resurrection, he doesn't read the Bible law. Read the Bible law, he's just going off the top of his head.
From there, we're going to go to the book of John, chapter 9, verse 31. And we're going to prove to you that Christ did not resurrect on a Sunday.
The book of John, chapter 9, verse 31.
Read.
Or 1931. 19.
Oh, my bad. Slakia. I wrote it down wrong. That's my bad.
19, verse 31. The Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation that the bodies should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day.
On the what?
On the Sabbath day. For that Sabbath day was in high day, besought plight that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away. Then came the soldiers and brake the legs of the first and of the other which was crucified with him.
Okay, yes. Con right there. The key word there in 31 is that the Sabbath is a high day. Now, most people think that when you see the word Sabbath in the Bible, it's always referring to the weekly Saturday Sabbath, which is the 7th day of the week, which we know as Saturday today, but it says high day Sabbath. There's a thing called annual Sabbaths along with weekly Sabbaths. Annual Sabbaths talk about the Sabbaths in your holy days, like Passover, Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Dedication, where the first day and the 8th day of the feast, those are high days. So that's what this is talking about. The annual Sabbath, not the weekly Sabbath. And with the annual Sabbath, it's not always on the 7th day of the week.
Okay.
So that's what got to get in touch with the Creator's calendar, the Hebrew calendar, to understand these passages. You can't put the days of the Most High together with a Gregorian calendar, with a heathen calendar, where the days are whacking all out of order.
Right.
So Christ was not buried on a Friday.
Not at all.
Because you don't get 3 days and 3 nights from Friday to evening to Sunday morning. That's about a day and a half, 2 days tops.
It's 9, 26, 27. The book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 26 through 27.
Now this is a prophecy of the Messiah. Pay attention.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolation are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consumption and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate.
Okay, so the Bible says that in Daniel 9:27, that he shall confirm the covenant with me for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Now today, what do we know as Hump Day? Wednesday, the midst of the week. Wednesday is the middle of the week. So this is a messianic prophecy predicting that Yahushua will be sacrificed in the midst of the week, which was a Passover, the 14th day of the first month. And that with his sacrifice, he did away with the Levitical sacrifices where he had to bring lambs, bullocks, grain offerings, this offering for our sins, because the Messiah is our sacrifice now. So the Messiah was crucified on Wednesday evening, not Friday.
That's right.
And we're going to put the rest of the pieces of the puzzle together at Luke 24.
It's 24, 21, right?
Oh, no, verse 1.
The book of Luke, chapter 24, verse 1. Now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them. And they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre, and they entered in and found not the body of our Lord Yahushua. And it came to pass, as they would much perplexed thereabout, behold, 2 men stood by them in shining garments.
Okay, so you see that? So it says the ladies, Mary and her partner, came very early Sunday, and they found not the body. They didn't wait. They wasn't there to wake Jesus up in the morning. They said they found not the body. So he resurrected before Sunday. The scriptures make it clear.
That's right. So Christ, he rose up on the Sabbath because they was there early. And it shows right there. He did not resurrect on a Sunday.
He was gone already.
That's right.
You pastor never read this. Luke 24, 1-3. So the timeline is 3 days and 3 nights. So Christ was crucified on Wednesday evening to Thursday evening, that's 1. Thursday evening to Friday, that's 2. Friday evening to Saturday, that's 3. That's how you get your 3 days and 3 nights. He resurrected before the Sabbath ended.
That's right.
Not on no Sunday to go to Easter service.
Nope. Would y'all like to add anything to this?
I think we pretty much cleared it up. So I think the message for this video is stop celebrating these pagan holidays.
That's right.
Come up out them churches, read this book, and find out the truth. Because with the truth, it'll set you free, as John 8:23 says.
That's right. And stop doing idol worship, because that's what you're doing. And you're teaching your children to do so.
I like to bring this passage out. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So this is our weapons of warfare. It starts spiritually first, through the knowledge and the truth and standing of the Most High God, which his name is Yahweh, and his son, Yahushua.
I like to bring out a verse too. I like to bring out Matthew chapter 5, verse 19. This is a word to the wise, because you're teaching these children these holidays, and you're going to be held accountable for it. So, the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men, so he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
So that shows right there, you're going to be held responsible for you teaching your children these idol worship and these false holidays that the Most High commands you not to do. For you teaching your children to eat this Easter ham, which is really a tribute of them overcoming a boar that killed Tammuz. Snap out of it. Wake up. It's high time. You see what's going on around you. We need to wake up as a people, so that the Most High hears your prayers, so that he saves us from our enemies, because you got enemies. And with that, I'm Yakanan Makbis.
BKL.
I'm Hosea.
And we'd like to thank you for watching Rise of the Chosen, Truth Beyond the Surface Temple. You can see us on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure you watch it from the page. And we'd like to say, Asher Shabbat, Shalom.
Shalom.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.